Hey guys, how's it going? It's Brett here with another Ace Maneuvers UniVersus video. If you like what you see, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. So today I'm going to be going over the deck that I took to a 3-0 finish at my last locals. I had a lot of fun playing the deck. Had a lot of fun putting the deck together, figuring out what exactly to do to make everything come together. And if you enjoy quirky, off-tier, kind of meme category decks, this might just be the deck for you. So starting out with the character here, we have Jester. She recurs spells, she makes momentum, but most importantly, she has the right symbols for what this deck wants to do. Everything kind of just comes together because Jester is the way that she is. You really can't play this deck as any other character in the format. So what kind of deck is it? Obviously, it could be a spell toolbox package, but it's not that. It's a lot more interesting. We are going to be playing Time Walks, and we are going to be playing all 4 of them. This is the Founding Titan's power. The more relevant side is Ymir here, spend 3 momentum, remove it from the game, win the game, take an extra turn. I have never actually lost a game when I've been able to activate the Time Walk ability, so the deck is just centered around getting Ymir into play as quickly as turn 2, making it really difficult for the opponent to get rid of her because she doesn't need to spend any of her, stamina to do her thing. She just needs to be in play. So the only point that matters is the last one. Now, getting an 8 difficulty card into play turn 2 is really difficult, so we're not going to be doing it the fair way most of the time. We are just going to play 4 copies of Emerge Victorious here. Real simple, straightforward, sacrifice a backup, go through your deck until you find a Ymir, put it into play. She's the only hit in the entire deck. This card is designed to get this into play turn 2, and then the rest of the deck is designed about making sure you get to turn 3 with Ymir into play. But part of getting to turn 3 in this deck is also having enough momentum to activate Ymir. So you're going to be playing the full battery of support from the female Titan and its little brother, Rapid Speed Slash here. Technically, Rapid Speed Slash is the older brother, and this is the little sister, but you get what I'm saying. Jester makes you your first momentum, support makes the second one, and then generally between either Emerge hitting or one of these hitting, you'll have your third momentum in play on going into turn 3. And then once you start time walking, these also just start drawing you cards to either find another way to time walk again or just assemble your kill condition. And your kill condition is actually just spells. Only 4 of them. You're only going to play 4 Harness on Death. You're already kind of, I need backups in my deck. And then Jester just pulls these out of your discard pile. So once you've established your extra turns with Ymir, you just start throwing Harness on Deaths at them. You play like 3 of them on your first turn, bring the opponent's shields down, untap, draw a fresh hand, play another 3 of them. Really difficult for someone to survive 6 or 7 Harness on Deaths when they only have 1 hand of cards to do it with versus your 2 turns. Now, for your polymorph here, you are going to just play all 10 copies of Jaegerist Follower. It's real cheap. It comes into play. And then it starts filtering the top card off of your deck while also being fuel for Harness on Death. This deck really can't function without the full 10. The other backups you'll be playing, you will be playing 3 Kegs. This just exists to eat the first attack that they throw at Ymir, make their life a whole lot more difficult. You don't want to play the full set because drawing 2 of them kind of sucks. So you just play 3, which is the number of copies of a card you want to play when you always want to see at least 1 a game, but 2 is probably too many. Continuing in the vein of making the opponent's life difficult, you are going to play some capes here. Again, they protect Ymir, they protect your character if the opponent decides to try and ignore Ymir and kill you. I can imagine a lot of pony decks would want to try and do that. So this card just exists. It's unique. You only play 2. It's a 4. You don't want it messing with your consistent builds on turn 1, but you still play it. And continuing on, I would play 2 Genkai's Guidance in this deck. If I owned 2 Genkai's Guidance, you're all about getting Ymir to go off. So if you can have some combination of Genkai's or Cape or Keg and Cape or Cape and Genkai's, especially on turn 2, that's really difficult for the average opponent to get through. And if they do manage to get your Ymir off the board, they've probably really extended to do that. So you can start capitalizing by just punishing them with recursive Harness on Deaths or get some chip damage in with support from the female Titan. Or you could just emerge again and ask them, do you have another round of cards that could deal with the next Ymir? Getting into the foundation base here, it's kind of not that fancy. It's just going to play a bunch of really solid cards. You will play 4 Finally Free. This card, I think, is just perfect. It's powerful enough to warrant the 3, especially since it just flips itself, so it leaves a resource behind for you to commit. Checks a 6, blocks a +1 mid. I think this card is just an absolute home run of a 3 difficulty card, especially since I like generating momentum so much. Next up, you'll play the obligatory some number of copies of Incredible Display here. It stops their Genkais. It can stop their Goblin Bolts. Basically anything that might catch you by surprise, Incredible Display can deal with, except if they're a character. But, you know, sometimes you just got some sacred cows you can't touch. We're playing 2 Moment of Normalcy. This can sometimes help Ymir go off, but most of the time it's just there to protect your neck. This goes in basically everything these days. It's an infinity card that does something very powerful that all decks like to have. So it's the obligatory 2 slot for me. Getting into the 1-diffs here, you've got your stable package, 4 Fearsome Transformations, 4 Inspiring Song, do the thing, draw the cards, get it out of the way. And then this one just helps your control checks for sometimes clunky emerge turns on turn 2. Mills backups into your discard pile for Harness on Death to get bigger, and then it also just finds Harness on Deaths for Jester to recur. Checks a 6, way strong card. You can technically recur it with Jester if you need a +3 mid block, but that's really not the state of the game you want to be in. 3 Horrifying Realizations. Again, they just help filter cards out of your hand so you can find your combo. 3 Pull from Danger to help Ymir go off. I would play 4, but I don't own 4. If anybody is feeling generous, hit me up. I tried 2 Emerging Threats in the deck. I loved it so much, I'm probably going to get 4 copies in here. Sometimes your turn 2 emerge turns are very awkward. Maybe you check poorly on your emerge, and then you also have to try and figure out how to get a Keg into play. Being able to play Keg as your first form, cheat it down, then start emerging, or maybe use emerge to get back up into play to give yourself fuel for an echoed Harness on Death. Just a very useful accelerant for the deck. I would definitely play 4 moving forward. And finally, the obligatory zeros. Probably Chaos's best 0 right now. I'm going to be really sad when this card rotates. gets you a free momentum with Jester, can help make awkward checks on support or rapid speed slash a little less awkward. Just an all-around fantastic piece of support for the Chaos Momentum Generation decks. Yeah, just a good card. Love you, Master's Pride. So yeah, I did end up taking this to a 3-0 finish at my Sunday locals last week. I did get a little lucky in doing so. Some things did have to fall my way. I'd say in about 30% of my games, I got to Time Walk, and I just didn't lose. It's really hard for this deck to lose when all you're doing is pulling Harness Undeaths out of your discard pile. But a lot of my games were actually won by just getting a Ymir into play, acting like I wanted to protect it, because obviously if I can protect it, I win. But getting the opponent to overextend so hard, getting Ymir off the board, that Harness Undeath just got to come in and mop up from there. Sometimes you can just echo 2 of them and then pull the other 2 out of your discard pile, and you're asking your opponent to deal with 6 instances of the burn after they've already invested so many resources getting your Time Walk off the board. Just a great little rattlesnake follow-up combination there. I won the majority of my games that way, and I would imagine that a more cutthroat version of this deck doesn't play Ymir. If you're still playing Emerge, you probably want to Emerge out Colossus Titan instead, just so you can immediately rip their hand apart, while also leaving behind fuel for Harness Undeath. Maybe go for like some really turbo self-mill with like Radiant Visage, Inspiring Song, just a lot of things to dump stuff into your discard pile real quick, rip their hand apart with Colossus Titans, and then pull up your Harness Undeaths. I imagine that would be a much more efficient version of the deck, but this one is just a whole lot more fun. If you enjoy taking extra turns, and if you don't, why? Give this deck a shot. It was a lot of fun. My opponents had a lot of fun playing against it, trying to figure out how to get Ymir off the board, and then actually watching some Time Walks go off. If you're ever interested in zany meme tier combo decks, I know this idea has been floating around for a bit, but just go for it. Don't let your memes be dreams. Sometimes they can be surprisingly powerful. And that's going to be it for me for the night, guys. If you liked the video, you know where to find me. Appreciate any feedback. If you have any insane ideas for a deck that you want help flashing out, find me on Facebook, find me on Discord. I am always down to turn more memes into dreams and then start going from there. I've got a bunch of crazy ideas in the works with Harness Undeath in the future. And hopefully you'll be seeing a few more zany things from me in not too long of a time. I'm going to go to bed. You guys have a great night. Take care.